How's it going, YouTube? I'm back with another devlog update. This one's going to be a lot more streamlined and to the point, but as always, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like for more content like this, and without further ado, let's start this video. So first things first, we have a title update. So I will now introduce to you guys Bingban's Prison Palace. I know it sounds like Bingban. I know it sounds like that
Who's
shit.
the
It's just not that shit. Introducing Bingban's Prison Palace. It's a game in which you take control over 4 adults who died mysteriously and woke up in an alien prison. As a player, you must guide them to uncover the truth behind why they were brought to such a place and hopefully revive them in the process. As you progress, you will encounter memories, all belonging to each of the main characters, signifying key events that eventually led to their death. Connect with these characters as you progress through the palace and find a way out by any means. So if you didn't notice, the game officially has title and logo art. I wanted to take time to really flesh out the story by writing the beginning, middle, and the end before getting around to that logo so that I had a better idea of where the story was going. Initially, I only knew that these characters were in an alien prison and they needed to get out by any means. But now that the story is much more actualized, I feel confident enough to put a title on the story that I think actually fits. Bingban also doubles as a pretty dope mascot, so. So as I'm looking at my script here, I realized that I said I had all the side character sprites started. I don't. I still need to do 3 more, but I will still continue as if we have all of the side character sprites started. Yeah, I'm reading off my script. Most are actually finished, but a couple, of the main characters need a few different outfits for various reasons, narratively speaking. So I've been working on those in the meantime. But I'd like to take a second and introduce some of these side characters since I really enjoy their designs and I feel like I really won't get a chance to talk about them otherwise. So first up, and he's arguably not a side character at all, but we have Bingban himself. He's our cute mascot character that exists to sell toys and move the plot forward, obviously, but in all seriousness, he's the warden of the prison palace our heroes find themselves in. He's pretty bubbly, has a mysterious reason for running the palace the way he does, but I wanted his design to kind of contrast the adults' kind of muted, desaturated tones, so I gave him a more pastel color scheme. And as I stated previously in the last devlog, Bingban went through a few iterations before I arrived at a design that I felt was satisfying and I was happy with. But it was really worth going through those phases in his design because I feel like the character would have looked far differently and probably wouldn't have hit the same for me personally. So I'm glad I did those iterations. Next up, we have the Old Man, and yeah, that's his actual name in the game, Old Man. He's such a minor role character, but I've always wanted to at least go the extra step to give the game a little bit more immersion by adding NPCs like him that are nameless, but kind of add that charm. He doesn't play a big role by any means, but he was pretty fun to draw, so I have no complaints with his inclusion. But yeah, going forward, I definitely had to tone down the amount of these kinds of NPCs I would add, just because it can definitely balloon just production time if you get too deep into adding in characters like this. But Old Man is fun, so I was like, yeah, we'll throw him in though. We'll throw him in. But yeah, that's Old Man. Next up, we have another non-adult character in Juliana Russo. She is Ricky's obnoxious kid sister who constantly spouts scientific facts that nobody asked for, all the while fangirling over her favorite anime. I wanted her design to really spell out that snarky kid sister vibe with the bug teeth and the adjustment of the glasses pose. I think she's probably my favorite kid character I've ever designed just because I find it so easy to write for her because, I mean, dude, look at her. Like, she looks like the type to just randomly barge into a conversation talking about the history of the Pythagorean theorem and how that relates to Bowser Jr. clearing the extended Dragon Ball verse, all the while discussing Sora's iframes and Smash Bros. Ultimate. And you aren't original if your favorite character is Cammy from Street Fighter 6. Like, dog, back up, take a breath. Why are you all in my group? But seriously, I had a super fun time designing this character, and given that this is the only relevant child character in the game, I want her to be pretty memorable. So there you go. Next up, we have Ricky's mother, Grace Russo. I wanted her to look like a hardworking middle-aged mom, pretty average, but she's constantly cleaning the house, and that's why she has her gloves and a broom in tow. Her design is more on the subtler side, with some dirt and grunge here and there to represent her lack of time for self-care. Overall, she's just a sweet old lady, though. Didn't really have too much to say in terms of design, but that's kind of the role that I gave her, and I think I kind of hit that. So yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with her design. Next up, we have Khalees. She's Mia's sorority president at their college. If you couldn't gather based off the posing, she's a rich girl, probably more invested in her phone and status than she is with just about anything else in life. I had her wear her clothes a lot more fashionably than Mia does, just to show that even in gym clothes, she's gonna always optimize her fit, bro. Like, you will not catch her lacking. I'm such a nerd for using the word optimize to describe getting dressed. Like, I need to go touch grass. But anyways, she was designed to be an idol figure for Mia. You could say they have a sort of big sis, little sis relationship going on. So yeah, that's Khalees. Next up, we have Lo, Jian's bodyguard. He's basically as straightforward as he looks, man. He's just a bodyguard with a high top fade. Like, you can't get much more cleaner than that, bro. He just got a high top fade, bro. He's supposed to be like slightly more modern looking with that Bluetooth device, since this takes place in the early 2000s. But I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, like, that was probably like standard equipment back. Like, everyone base had that, so it's like, I don't know, man. What was I thinking for? Should have gave him like AirPods or something. But anyways, he works for the big man Jian himself, so naturally I wanted his design to be a bit more high end. And I think overall this captures that, even though, you know, he has the fucking Bluetooth on. It's so stupid. But yeah, man, he's a right hand man, and that's kind of what I was going for with his vibe. So I think I hit that. Next up, we have Pi. She's a bartender that works at the nightclub known as the Penthouse. She's Azaleas' co-worker, though she struggles with getting his attention. I wanted her design to give off those punkish vibes, which is why I decided to make her color scheme pretty bold and saturated. Overall, I think I hit my goal with making her look like a rock band member, you know. And as you all know, Azaleas is a rock star, so there'll be some fun interactions there when we get to that story. Next up, we have Esteban, a ruthless boxer who shows literally no mercy no matter who his opponent is. The thought process behind his design was to basically create an almost inhuman looking character who is clearly dangerous. The gray cracked skin, red eyes, soulless expression, I think that all really helps sell this character's like ferocity. So yeah, I can't wait to, like, you know, introduce him in the story. But I like his design. It's pretty weird looking, but kind of cool to me. The next two characters come as a package deal. We have Commentator 1 and Commentator 2. These designs are probably about as basic as it gets for the story. I wanted them to just look funny, you know. I did not care about proportions. They look like bobbleheads to me, you know. And I guess that kind of makes a little bit of sense. I mean, not really, but, you know, it's funny, you know. So bobbleheads. But yeah, this is another case of me not wanting to skimp out on the NPCs for certain elements of the story. There is going to be a boxing section in this story, so I kind of wanted to have like two commentator characters that can kind of pop in and out of those moments, just to like ground the scene a little bit more. So it's not just, you know, two people, you know, just switching back and forth, right? But yeah, that was kind of the thought process behind them. Yeah, I have an honorable mention that I forgot to show off in the last devlog. This is actually Angela 1.0. This sprite got axed because I felt she looked too boring. Like, she just looks like a regular old flight attendant. You know, like, I wanted her to have a little bit more personality. So I went with, you know, the more spunky version of Angela, as opposed to this version. I feel like the version that I have now is a lot more interesting and like easier to write for, you know. So yeah, that was kind of the reason behind why I axed this design. But it's not like terrible or anything. I just, you know, I wanted something more. So in terms of the rest of the sprites I have to draw out, I think I have about 3 more before okay, wait, let me calm down. I have 3 more sprites for like the 3 more characters, and then I have all outfits for the main cast that I have to finish, and then I'll be completely done with sprites. And yes, there is a narrative reason for why they all need new outfits. I really was trying to make it to where they didn't need new outfits, but there's a scene that I just need to have them with different outfits. It'll make sense when you play the game. But I hope to finish those by the next devlog. However, I'm still unsure if I want to show them off, since it's not like it's spoilers, but it kind of is at the same time. So I may hold off on those, but we'll see. But that wraps up the update on sprites, a pretty lengthy section. Alright, for writing, as far as the writing updates go, I'm about 80% done with the entire script of Bingban's Prison Palace. I hope to have the full thing done within the next 2 weeks. The main reason why it's taking so long to finish is due to constantly reading the entire script and tweaking past convos to match the new canon, and making sure there aren't any plot holes. That's the real time sink, is making sure there's no plot holes. Once I finish that, I plan on running the script by a few close friends to see if they can catch anything I can't, since I've been staring at this thing for almost 2 months now. Another time sink think, is writing the alternative dialogue choices and fleshing out some of the endings. One thing that I only just recently began thinking about was the amount of one-off cutaway art that would need to be done just to tell the story effectively. Art pieces such as cinematic scenes, item assets, and a couple of background elements which will all need to be accounted for during this phase. Once I finish the script, I plan on marking a few areas within the script of where I plan on having these scenes or one-off shots play in the story. Basically, I'll be creating an asset list for all of those things, and then I'll be tasking those out to myself once I get an idea of how many things I need to actually work on. But that's about it in terms of writing, so there's still a lot to do, and then there's going to be a lot of art to do, but I'm really trying to just have everything I need so that I could just plug things in for the last few months and just like really just not really need to hop off out of engine once I'm in engine, if that makes sense. So this section is new, but I have a small demo of the game so far that it's only going to be for internal testing for me and maybe like 1 or 2 other people. But yeah, I went ahead and made a demo of the first 3 scenes of the game to test how it feels to have the dialogue play out in Tyranno Builder. At the moment, I only have a singular Luna sprite imported in those scenes just to find out the most optimal way of asset importing within the software. This was mainly, again, for internal testing to see if everything translated pretty okay. And to me, it seemed like it worked pretty fine. I'll have to give this demo a little bit more polish before I can even think about showing it to a few other people. But yeah, I hope to at least by the end of the year have enough done to be able to release something a little more concrete. But yeah, we'll see. Again, one thing about game dev that I've learned in the past 2 years is that it takes a very long time to just get stuff up and running, let alone being fun. You just getting stuff up and running. So I'm trying my best to practice patience, practice being thorough, and just trusting the process. But again, I have to reiterate that tracking my time and being satisfied with the consistent amount of work being done each week has been definitely keeping me focused on this project so diligently. So if you're having burnout, or when you look at the time that you put into a project, it's pretty inspiring to keep going, because it's okay, hey, I have 120 hours on this. That's a lot of time, so let's keep going, So yeah, I think that's a good habit to kind of pick up, tracking your time for whatever project you're working on. So we have another new section, general scope and cutting out some things. That I don't know if that's the title. That might be the title. Due to me always wanting to implement stuff when I see it, I ended up trying a few different things and throwing out a few things for the sake of the project scope, just to see if I liked it or not. One of the things I dabbled in was animation on the characters. Things like blinking and mouth movement I decided against due to having to convert every character to do something like that, which is insane. And when I think about the workload, I just decided against it because it wasn't really necessary for players to enjoy the game, in my opinion. Yeah, it'd be cool, but it's not needed, Another thing I wanted, but will more than likely be cut, were those alternative poses for the main characters I talked about in the last devlog. I elected to do this in favor of making more outfit/variants for characters instead. I feel getting another outfit on a character as opposed to having the character have do a different pose, I think is a pretty good trade-off, but it would have been fun, but I had to cut it. But yeah, I think those were the 2 things that I mainly decided to cut for the remainder of this project, just to keep the main story and main game within the scope. Love to have a demo out by, again, the end of this year, and I'd love to have this game done by next summer, but we will see. Again, we don't know. I don't know what my schedule will look like after all of this is said and done. So I really, I'm just gonna be doing my best to keep myself going on this project, and we'll see. Alright, and the last section is immediate plans. This is another new section, but it's also going to be the outro. But I plan to basically fully complete the story and finish out all of the sprites for the game this month. I think I can hit that goal if I stay consistent as I've been doing. If I can get all the artwork completely finished, I can probably start focusing on the special cutaway scenes next, which I don't have too many of, I think. And after I finish those, that's when I'd like to refocus my efforts on music, and then grabbing the rest of the backgrounds from Unity after that. Once I have all of that stuff out of the way, I would imagine I'd be ready to start plugging in most of this stuff into Tyranno Builder and start making my way towards a very rough version of the game. Again, this is expected to come out around late December if I'm pretty consistent. I'll update you guys on any pitfalls or humps I encounter that may prevent me from doing so, but I plan to have at least a good demo out by December. Another thing I realized while doing these devlogs is that 60-hour increments is just far too short to have enough stuff to substantially show off for a single devlog. And when you think about it, that's like barely a week and a half worth of work if this were a full-time job. That being said, I think I'm gonna make another one once I hit hour 300. I think that'll give me a ton more time to truly make a bigger leap in progress and have more stuff to show off, list off any cool things that I come across, and even like problems I run across too. I haven't gotten into too many problems just because I haven't been in engine, but I'm sure I'll run into something once I start, and just documenting that stuff. Yeah, as of right now of me scripting this, I'm at like hour 130. I'm recording this right now. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm at like 140. And I had in my script, yo, Chris, if you're at hour 140, say so. I'm at like 140 hours. So just wanted to throw that in there. And I do count the creation of these devlogs towards that hour count, which is why I want to give myself a little bit more time to just do some raw creation, because these take 10 hours to make sometimes. The last one did. This one's probably going to take around 6-7 hours, which is still a lot of time just for a video. But I think, again, it's super important to, mark my progress on these projects. So I definitely don't mind it. It's just, time. It definitely adds up, So I definitely want to just, give myself a lot more time to just work on this, work on the project and not think about making a devlog all the time. So that's why I'm changing the increments. But I hope you all, understand. That may make, the next devlog come out in another month, 2 months maybe, but it'll be worth it. I promise it'll be worth it. I'll make sure it's worth it. But yeah, I think that's about it in terms of my immediate plans. Again, I hope you all enjoyed this little video about my game project. I hope it inspired some of you all to work on your own things, or maybe even make your own devlogs. I'd love to see some of the stuff you all are creating. It seems like I don't see anything anymore. And I want to see stuff. I want to support, creators, and I want to, I want to see you guys stuff. But again, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. That lets me know that you guys like this kind of content. Again, these videos take a super long time to make, just from scripting to editing to, again, rolling all of this stuff out to you guys. But I love it, and it's something that I enjoy, so it's not like all bad. But again, just leave a like so I know, right? But I hope you all enjoyed the rest of your day, night, or whatever. And it's been your boy Chris, and I'm out. Peace.